not watching this live, watch it in 1.25x or 1.5x if you can handle it. Save yourself some time. I think we're gonna get ready to go here pretty quick. I think everything's all set. Feels pretty good. Let's get her going. Let's start the day. Down, boom. All right. What's the keys again? This one? Oh, hey, folks. Welcome back to Surely Sound Studio. My name is Martin. You can call me Marty. And this light is too bright. So let's turn it down a bit. But this is my show, so let's go. How are we all doing? AK's in the house. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Oh, hold on. I think I muted you. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Hey,
sorry, you were drumming. You were drumming on the table, and I could hear it. Something was going on over there. I had to mute it. But anyways, how you doing? How you doing?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Another beautiful day in the igloo north.
That's right.
Just a little sun shining through the windows in our igloo. Looking good, looking good.
Got the fire going.
Got the fire going in the middle of July. All right. Right on. Well, folks, today we're going to talk about a few things. I want to try and keep it a little bit more Bitcoin based this time because got a couple comments about some of the things we were talking about last time, and I might address some of those comments. We'll get to that. Yeah, I don't claim to be a professional or an expert in a lot of things, but I do understand how Bitcoin works and what it does and how it can improve your life and just your energy, your overall flow with the game, because the system that most people are taught is designed to strain and drain you, and that's completely unnecessary with the technology that we have today. If you'll notice, I am still wearing the red hat. I still do believe we are in a technical bear market, but I do think that we are coming very close to the end of this bear market. So that's why the title of this one is "It's Time to Pay Attention, Folks." It's time to pay attention. Because this is right when everybody's starting to get bearish. Everybody's starting to get Bitcoin's dead. Everybody's starting to just be negative, right? And that's exactly what is at the end of a bear market. When everybody's positive and, oh, it's going to go higher, it's going to go higher. That's the euphoric state. That's the end of the bull market. That's when we're telling you, hey, your bags are up like 400%. Maybe take some profits, right? And people are like, what? No, it's going to go up another 1,000%. It's like, yeah, in like another 10 years, but if you want to, not be depressed for a year, take some profits, or educate yourself on ways that you can benefit from the increase in price. You don't necessarily have to sell. A lot of people don't sell. You can just borrow high and buy low, if you understand how that game is. But all in all, the main route is just study Bitcoin. Once you study Bitcoin, you'll understand how it works. Then you'll understand why it was even invented, and then you'll understand how the monetary policy and the system as we know it works today. And then when it comes down to it, all you really got to do is store your value in assets, because the dollar is going to zero. So let's zoom out here and go to the weekly chart on Bitcoin and just see where we're at here. Because honestly, we were talking about this before, big green wave, little red wave, little green wave, most likely bigger red wave. Which I was calling for, mid 40s up here when we were at 126. I figured that we'd probably bottom around the mid 40s. is that going to happen? You know, every day that we continue to go sideways down here on this range, every day that we hold these lines here, this massive support. Let's actually go to a better chart here. This one has not a lot of volume.
No, I think the 50s to 60s is kind of the lowest we're gonna see, I think, for the year.
Well, we already saw there was a few things that I wanted to see before I was ready to call bottom. One of those was we definitely had to come back to the 200, which we did. The other one was having Michael Saylor sell, which he did, right? And
But he
so
always buys back. That's the other problem.
Well, he sold and then bought back lower, right? But the thing is that ultimately it's more, he knows what he's doing, right? Like he knows what he's doing. I'm not questioning him, but there's lots of people out there that don't understand what he's doing and are potentially just like, he sold, it's over, right? And they panic. But
yeah, no, he's just playing the game that basically every other Bitcoiner is playing. You want to sell at a certain price and buy more back at a certain price. And honestly, that's just helping investors out.
Well, absolutely. Because if you're not in and he sells 3,000 Bitcoin, there's another 3,000 people who can have a chance to become a whole Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Well, if you got to act quick. But the thing is like he sold, where I think he sold up here, right? Like we were right at the same time we were saying DCA out. This is what's called a dead cat bear market relief rally, just to kind of get rid of some of the over leveraged shorts, as well as fill some of these orders in this inefficiency. So when we drop so quickly like this, a lot of orders get left behind. And so what the market makers want to do is go back and grab those orders before going lower. And that's just kind of how the market works. It's designed to soak up liquidity one way or another. So there's going to be a lot of liquidity under this wick here. But this, like, there is just a tiny inefficiency right here around 50K. So I feel like it's possible for us to come down and touch that and grab that liquidity. But the thing is that with every passing day, basically the likelihood of it, I don't know. I don't want to say it decreases. I'm not there yet. But if we go if we go all summer long and we just continue to go sideways, then it's going to start to get less and less likely that we're going to come into this box. And that's kind of why this box is where it is, because, after November, December, like I could maybe drag this box out like another couple weeks.
Oh, but we just hit 64.2 here. This is your DCA.
Oh, 64. I did. Yeah, I did that. I did. Nice. Or added to the long there. So, but ultimately,
I think we're gonna. Oh, damn it! I think we're gonna close this out.
Let's see. Let's get into the 1 hour here for a sec for a little trade watch. Then we'll get back up.
It's just it's tanking right. It's tanking right now. So I gotta bring this up. This is a great way to learn. We just hit 64.2, and that was a major bounce back right up to 64.345.
Perfect. That's why I add my limit order right there. Man, I just caught the bottom of that wick. If this holds up, that looks nice. If not, then we're screwed. No, I got a stop loss. I've already taken profits on this trade once that I'm in here. The trade that I'm in right now was, man, such a beautiful entry. Like you can't even make this stuff up. But let's go over to this chart. This is where I took it from. POC of the current range that we're in here on the daily, so about the last couple weeks. The point of control is where the most volume is traded, and we have money flow coming up on the daily time frame, which means any drop is likely lackluster, and we're gonna or weak and kind of just a liquidation event. And then for a continuation of the trend, so we come down to the 786 and the POC absolutely perfectly. Do a tiny little bull div there on the 15-minute, and then come back up, and then another flush. You get all the stop losses, all the people that moved their stop to entry right away and weren't confident in their trade, got stopped out before a nice push up. Sideways all day Saturday, held the 200, and then another push up. So maybe come back down and into this range a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of hold around here, but I'm expecting, like, especially that we've just seen 1, 2, 3 hours now. It's come down and kind of just flushed out and bounced. Holding some support here, which was resistance in the past. SR flip, holding on right here and with the daily flow, daily money flow continuing to come up here. This is very nice. curvature in here. Boom, boom, boom. And we basically expect that to sort of continue on like that. Price action won't do that. It'll be a little bit more choppy, but that's basically what we're thinking is anytime we come back down, it's going to just be a sort of a stop hunt before moving on in the direction of money flow. Money flow is kind of like the direction of price. Everything in between is just noise, but it goes up and down. I don't know. Some people think it's volatile, but it's not really. It's in long game, long term, certain perspective, it's not volatile at all. It just goes around to liquidate traders, really. Like anybody that's doing 125x or 100x or whatever, they're gonna get their positions taken. That's just kind of how it works. If you trade with reasonable leverage, which is like 5 to 10x, which is still aggressive, really.
Yeah, I mean it is, but at the same time, your liquidity price is a pretty big move right now for to kind of lose it all. And really, I mean, are you betting 100,000 plus right now and doing all that, or this is why you only bet with what you're willing to lose, kind of thing. And
absolutely, it was. And then basically my target for this would be taking out these highs here. It looks like we were looking at the liquidation heat map here, and we've got quite a bit of liquidity at 65.8, just above these highs that we left on the last move up last weekend. And so might come up and take a little bit of liquidity here. Hell, we might even come all the way up to 67k, which is the POC of the whole this whole year is 67k. Isn't that funny? 67,000 Bitcoin US dollars is the POC for the whole year. Well, I guess 6.7 was kind of a last year thing, I guess, but still, it's just kind of funny. For the kids watching at home, for the parents watching where the kids are also watching, 67,000 is the POC for the year, which is the point of control, which is the place where the highest amount of volume was traded. It's pretty funny. Let's go over to this one. We've got more volume. But yeah, so high volume node, very high volume node, very well could be strong resistance in a bear market. So even though money flow is coming up on the daily, it could very well just come up and make a smaller wave here. And that's kind of what I wouldn't be surprised to see, is really a little bit more of a push up to try and pump some tires, get some things going. We've had like things like the Clarity Act and BlackRock talking about how the people are big figures are publicly coming on the TV and telling people that Bitcoin is going to be the future. And it's kind of like, that's still kind of a red flag for me. I don't really like to see that kind of stuff. I like it more when those people are like getting stoned. By that I mean the public is throwing stones at them because they lost their money or something. You know what I mean? Like that you want to buy the blood, you want to buy the chaos, you don't want to buy these guys going on TV and telling you this is the future or whatever, right? It's like, well, it's the future for sure, but what we can see happening right now is the exact same thing that's happened with every new technology that gets brought to the human race or to society as we know it today. And that's basically, there's a massive speculation over what could happen, massive investment and FOMO into being a part of the new technology before it's too late. So people start freaking out and doing stupid things. And then ultimately what happens is it keeps going, and the very rich people will continue to fuel this fire as long as the little guy is still pumping money in, right? So anytime something big happens that might affect it negatively, the big guys, as long as the little guys are still into it, will continue to just kind of prop things up to keep people surely sound. You know what I mean? So, but at one point when everything becomes unaffordable, nobody has extra spending money, then the big wigs rug pull and take all the money in between. That's kind of what you want to buy. But the thing is that at this point, what I love about Bitcoin is that people are waking up to inflation and stuff like that not being transitory. Like, we know that all the BS that they talked about during 2021 and 2022 with the monetary policy was absolute lies. Everything they said was a blatant lie, because none of it has happened, and the complete opposite has continued from what happened back then. So it's like everybody knows now that you have very little chance if you're trying to save cash. Cash is going to be inflated to nothing, devalued to zero, one way or another, because, and that's simple math with the compound interest on the debt due. You cannot pay. It doesn't matter how much at this point. The largest payments are to interest. Okay, so there's certain people who are getting filthy rich collecting these interest payments because they loaned the money to the country, they bought the bonds, they own the assets, and they don't mind this happening. Like you have to understand that the whole system is designed to break you. It's broken for their benefit, right? People are like, oh, this is fucked. We need to redo this and redo that. It's like, no, it works exactly how they intended it to work. And if you're not educated on that, then you are a product of that. And if you want to be a beneficiary of that, then all it takes is a bit of education. It's literally all it takes.
It's funny, man. That's actually, I was watching something yesterday, and it's all public information. It's all been released, and it's all done by the CIA. And there's actually an entire book on it, and it's basically about how to make the population retarded.
Oh yeah.
Like actually, yeah. And you can see exactly how they laid it out, and you just honestly, you take a look around and you're just, wow, it works.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And the other thing too is how obvious, like it's like to the T by the book, because if you look at even just history in the last 50 years, you have the 50, well, let's go 70 years. You have the 50s, you have the 60s, you have the 70s. And that's not only just because it's 10 years and it's a decade. Think about the eras that began, withheld, and then changed on the 10, like on the decade. Because just for instance, just in case you weren't alive at any of those eras, music is a really good way to pay attention. Like for instance, in the 70s, classic rock became a thing. It's still a thing. It's not like nowadays where music just, people listen to it for a couple months and then it's gone. Like the classic rock is still listened to every single day. In the 70s, it became a thing. It was introduced, and it's never going anywhere. Almost like it was written in the script. And then we have the 80s and we have the 90s. We have hair metal, we have grunge. We have all these things that have shaped our society to where we are now, and has a diverse effect on many things. But ultimately, it's so crazy how scheduled it has been, and how, if you weren't alive back in those days, the 20 teens to the 2020s, obviously 2020 was a massive shift, right? So the 20 teens to the 2020s is just the same playbook continuing on. It's a whole new world in the 2020s as it was in the 20 teens. And in the 2010s, it was, the .com internet era, right? Like it's everybody still looked like they were dressed from the 90s, but the technology was coming, like that whole, and then the teens, smartphones, and now the 2020s where we have surveillance, AI. Like it's undeniable how perfectly laid out it is, chapter by chapter, following the script to a T. So when you understand that, you can project, especially looking at the charts. It helps your brain comprehend the reality that you live in, the simulation, if you want to call it that. Like it's almost too good to be true. The more you know, the more it makes sense, and you're just like, well, fuck, I'm taking advantage of this. This is great. Like, and some people you go through an era, like I totally went through it too, where you have no idea how the world works. You're just like, fuck it, I don't care about tomorrow. I could die. And you just live day by day. And then you kind of like start to be like, maybe I should think about the future for a bit. Start to invest your time into learning, and then you get really depressed because you realize that the world is absolutely fucked, and you're like, this is crazy. What am I doing? How are we doing this?
Your entire youth being educated by a useless
so you get
system,
it makes you like super depressed and upset that you're like, the more you know, I don't want to. You almost get turned off of the knowledge, and you'd rather just ignorantly be bliss about what most people choose to do.
I almost wish I was stupid and naive to everything and just believed the world was good and people were there to help me. That'd be amazing.
But then there's another level. If you keep pushing, you get to that other level where it's like, okay, actually, it's more controllable than I did realize, and I can create my own reality amongst everybody else's reality. Like, it's insane how two of the exact same two different people can exist in the same reality and have completely different perceptions of reality, but they're both right.
Well,
they're both
it's
right.
difficult, right? You got to cut out a lot of BS of your life and say no to it in order to kind of achieve that better place, right?
Absolutely.
You can't let any of that negativity in.
Yeah, energy, frequency, vibration, right? Computer code. Look into how and why computers run, and then compare it to how your brain works, and then compare it to how the universe works.
Just everything, right? Everything is connected in some way, shape, or form. And when you start seeing that and putting basic understanding and logic into more complex things, you'll be like, oh wow, that's incredibly simple. It just is this on a bigger scale.
Exactly. Yeah, scalability is huge. Scalability is huge because
like if you I don't know, well, check out the screen I showed you. You don't need to put it up, but if you actually just look at that, that's society today that we live in. If you read it.
I'm gonna put it up because I can't read it on the small screen.
All right, here. See if I can.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
That's basically your workplace.
The CIA is great for information, and all the like declassified documents and stuff that have been coming out. It's like, well, yeah, okay, that just kind of
this is in 1944.
This kind of proves
right?
what I was thinking.
44. We're almost we're 80 years past that. Think of the technology, the brain, think of everything they've thought of, gone through, and done in those 80 years. When 80 years ago they were doing this.
Exactly. We also have to even remember thousands of years ago what the Egyptians were doing. It's not like intelligence. It's not like we're getting smarter. Like you kind of know as a right, and there's many signs throughout history that we know that it's not going. Like, it's funny how they project that, like, oh, technology is getting better and humans are going to the Mars of one day, and there's a projection that things are getting better, people are getting smarter. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely a group of people that are getting smarter, but as a whole, the majority of us are most likely not, unfortunately. It's a low population, low number of the population that is. It sucks. That we're on here again, though. I can't feel guilty because we're on here trying to share the information that is, regardless of our opinions. I have no opinion. Having an opinion is pointless in my opinion. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because it is what it is. And if your opinion is that the pen is blue but the pen is black, well, you're an idiot. Like, it is what it is.
Yes, right. I know. Somewhere along the way, that was all lost.
Oh, I can tell you right. I can tell you right when it was lost. I mean, there's many different scenarios over, but one of the biggest ones. I know. One of the biggest ones lately is the participation everybody wins attitude. Participation medal everybody wins. People need to lose to learn. The more you lose, the more you learn. So it's totally by design.
If you can't lose, you can't win either.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Absolutely. You can't.
So nobody's a winner. Nobody's a loser. You're all just a bunch of nothings.
Yeah, there needs to be competitive approach to learn.
Yeah, it's called rivalry, right?
Yeah.
And you have it in everything. You always have a rival or something going on.
You gotta have something. Exactly.
Yourself.
You got it. One of the best examples for me was growing up with Johnny, skateboarding and playing music. We always wanted to outdo each other. It's like, I did this, okay, then he wanted to do this, and then I was like, well, I got to do this, right? And we both didn't want to lose. We both wanted to be better, and us hanging out through our teens and our 20s made us amazing skateboarders and made us amazing musicians. Like, just because of that rivalry, but we're also best friends that are just trying to outdo each other.
And you also got a really good friendship out of it as well, right?
Absolutely.
It's not like, oh, I hate you because you're just as good.
Oh no, because we both
I want to hang out with you because you make me better.
Exactly. We both understood that from an early age, that we made each other better, and we each tried to outdo each other to try and to keep it going, right? And it's like, that is something that's unbelievably valuable in my life. And so it's good that our kids are even hanging out now too, and they're playing baseball and playing t-ball and stuff against each other, and they got a rivalry. It's like, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
it's so
You
good,
got something going there.
So good. And keep the competitive attitude, keep the and also the supportive friendship approach, where like, I beat you today, but you know, keep it up, man. You might beat me tomorrow. Or go back and like jokingly be like, oh, you're gonna do some work tonight, you know, get in the cages tonight or whatever, right? Like, keeping it up. But I'll see you tomorrow.
There was always one
man.
person
like,
you always lost to. You always lost to one person, and it took so long for you to get good to finally beat them at something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Something that
someone made you feel so much better. It was a better time.
Yeah. So it's like, it's funny, when I started trading, I probably lost, I don't know, my first year I probably lost $2,500 because I was trading with 10, 15, maybe $50 was my biggest trade for like 2 years. I just traded with small amounts of money. I did a little bit of mock trading, but I wanted to really learn with my own money. So in the first year or so of trading, I lost $2,500 easy. And but I learned it was, oh man, so you got to pay for your education one way or another. People go to finance school and pay tens of thousands of dollars for the same education that I got for $2,500.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Right. And that's what people don't understand. It's like, just spend the year doing it. Right. Take $2,000. Don't trade with $2,000 every time. Trade with $100. Trade with 500.
Yeah, but you have to
figure out your leverages. Figure out where you're comfortable at, and go for it.
The main thing is just staying disciplined and focused, right? Because if you're mock trading, it doesn't really mean much. Then you can easily lose focus. But if you have your own money in there, your own value, and you're like, you have self-respect and self-discipline to the point where it's like, hey, I lost some money here. I need to figure this out, right? I don't want to stay in this hole. I'm not just going to walk away from this in the hole. Like, I'm not giving up, right? I'm not letting this take me down. I'm not
quitting. Going to the casino back in the day.
Yeah, right.
I'm not losing. I'm not walking away here.
And so that was the best $2,500 I ever lost, because it's like, since then changed my life immensely.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, the loss is the reason why I'm winning today. And the whole approach is, they don't want kids to lose these days, and they don't learn. That's kind of where it took the turn. So like, my advice to you parents out there is, beat your kids. Okay? Beat your kids. At games like Monopoly and in sports, make sure, don't let them win. You can let them win occasionally. Don't, obviously you can tell if a kid's crying, you should probably stop beating them.
And shove it right in their face too. You got to get those feelings hurt. Yeah.
Let's go.
Hurt their feelings. Do everything you possibly can to make them cry, and tell them to tough it out.
Well, there's a line. You got to draw a line for sure. You got to read the room. You got to read the room. But that's how it kind of goes with everything, right? Like, you got to be able to problem solve. That's what I tell my kids. More than anything, like, I don't care if you want to go to school and do this or do what. You just need to learn how to problem solve. So if you can understand how to just solve a problem, whatever that problem is, then you will be successful at anything, because no matter what you're doing, you're going to come across problems. And if you can't problem solve, well, then you're not going to be successful at much. And so just learning the basic aspects of problem solving and not giving up, staying focused, not panicking, and trying to figure out what to do in a timely manner, when it matters, you will be successful at anything. And so that's kind of the same approach goes to parenting. It's like, you definitely cannot be too soft, but obviously you can't be too hard either. Like, we don't want to cause, maniacs, because but there has to be some sort of resistance. You can't bring up a kid with zero resistance, or else they will be jello. They get tough fighting through resistance. The problems that they encounter and the problems that they face are what strengthen them and give them the knowledge and just the processing power. Because if you get put in a complex position and you need to figure your way out as a kid, well, kids are actually quite smart. You give them a problem, they will most likely figure it out. The only ones that won't figure it out are the ones that are always looking over to mom or dad or whoever it is that's guilty of doing everything for them all the time. Those are the ones that don't figure things out. Those are the ones that don't move on. Those are the ones that stay stuck because they had their entire life, with a crutch. And you gotta kick the crutch out, like, let them fall down. Tell them they're gonna be fine. Get back up, and let them learn, and let them, think about it. Like, wild animals, birds, they kick their thing. They kick them right out of the nest. They kick them from a high up in a tree. They're like, well, see ya. Like before they can even fly, because that's just like, well, you should be big enough now, right? And if you don't fly, I guess you ain't gonna make it. So here you go, see ya. And they kick them right out of the tree, right? And it's like, I don't see a shortage of birds out there. Looks like they're doing just fine. And the only threat is us and the plastic that they eat. But like, as far as they go, they're not a threat to themselves, and that's kind of the problem that we're having, is we're a threat to ourselves, and this is something that needs to be discussed and maybe taken a closer look to, because ultimately the K-shaped economy is already happening, already begun, and we don't want to see the people who we know and love get caught on the wrong side of that K. You want to be on the upward slope of that K. You don't want to be on the downward slope of that K, because we know that with the rate of inflation and the rate of the compound interest and just yield curve in general, that it's not going to be very long before it gets really bad. It's just mathematics, unfortunately. So you just kind of need to pay attention and see what's going on. But as far as the Bitcoin aspect goes, I really just don't see much else worth paying attention to as far as like being my main focus. Like I start the day out with looking at the Bitcoin chart and seeing what's going on here, because it's the most liquid asset. You can buy and sell this asset at any time of day, anywhere in the world, at any time of day, at any day of the year. Like it's the most liquid asset, so it's going to be a leading indicator into what is going on with people, especially people that have lots of money, because there isn't a massive market cap. It's only a $1.8 trillion market cap roughly right now, and that's not very big considering gold is $20 trillion, and these there's hundreds of trillions of dollars in the real estate, but it's like it's only what is it, like 15, 16 years old here. So yeah, for it to do what it's already done in the time that it's been around, it's unreal. It's really unreal. And I do think that sure, we might have a few more months of lower prices, and actually at this point we're kind of praying for it, because we know ultimately that they cannot push the monetary policy too much harder without it breaking. So they're just at this point where they're just trying to coast. Like they've ran out of gas. The car is in neutral and rolling, but it's pretty much turned off. So we've lost our power steering. We've lost our any help that we're gonna get. The Federal Reserve has lost control with the tools that it has to regulate monetary policy, and they're just basically kind of what I'm seeing right now is trying to coast as long as they can until the money printer comes back on again. And that's and as long as they're not pulling money out of the system, and as long as they're not specifically trying to strengthen the dollar, Bitcoin will go up. It's just math, because it's compared to the US dollar. So as the US dollar loses value, as all fiat currencies lose value, Bitcoin goes up. And actually somebody messaged me the other day about a currency collapse, and I'm going to actually double check and see if that happened. Did you hear about this?
No.
What is
like another country's currency finally collapsed, or they just switched?
I'm gonna see if I can find Argentina USD. What is it called? The peso futures in USD, ARS. Yeah, let's see if this is it. ARS. No data here. No data here. Well, anyways, maybe I wasn't prepared for this one, but long story short, I heard another fiat currency collapsed yesterday. So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly right.
Like they're useless.
That's what happens.
Once you get into Bitcoin, you understand that everybody who's on a fiat currency is doomed.
Absolutely.
Basically. You're screwed.
Absolutely. And that's just it, right? S&P 500 here for anybody who's looking for traditional stock markets and stuff like that. Consolidating above the previous resistance here. So on a daily time frame, looks like money flow is starting to trend out. With this, money flow would have to come up and make a higher high here. So if we do break out, I wouldn't be shocked if we still break out here, but we just have to be a strong breakout. Money flow needs to make a higher high. The price may make a higher high, but if money flow and momentum don't, well, then that's your shakeout and your signal of top is near. Same type of thing we saw here before this correction was where momentum is coming down, money flow is coming down, price was still going up. We ended up going sideways still for some time, but ultimately that was the top. And so we could see something similar here, or maybe one more push up and come back down. And like the stock market itself is like sketchy. So that's another reason why Bitcoin might just stay here, is because stock market's overvalued. A lot of people are going to be looking for capital rotation here out of the stock market very soon. And where do you think it's going to go? Obviously, we know AI isn't holding the promises, isn't keeping the promises that it made. So I don't think there's going to be lots of people that are paying attention anyways, investing in AI for the next year or so. Like, it's basically the bubble is popping. It's not an instant burst when it comes to a lot of this stuff, but it's popping. We've already seen SpaceX lose its IPO initial price. It went up and now it's gone back below when it first hit the market, and it's probably just going to continue to go down. You have to remember that anytime they open these companies to the public, especially after they've been around for a long time, it's just a crowdfunding thing. It's not like a, hey, buy this because it's going to go up. It's a, hey, buy this because we need your money. And you see it relate in this stock price every single time. We still have Anthropic and OpenAI to become public later this year. It really depends if we're going to make it. They have some time before they get there. And if the markets are continuing to go down into those offerings, I wouldn't be surprised if they got pulled back, because at some point, like, they don't want to offer that when prices are low. They want to offer that when prices are high. So at some point, it will, if the price gets too low, they lose incentivization to do that, right? Because it's all about them making money. It's not about the company doing, you have to understand that everything, when you make a business, like, it doesn't really matter what you do, whether you're a plumber or you're somebody in AI. All you're trying to do is get your business to the point where people will give you money for your business. And then you play the loan interest game where my company's worth this much money. I'd like to borrow against it. You pay interest on the loan, but you're making enough money from the business that you just live off of the difference on the top. And so the bigger the business, the bigger the difference. The lower the interest rate, the bigger the difference. So that also has to do with what's going on with interest rates too, because they don't want to, if they put interest rates up, then it eats away at their capital. So there's just so many things that are, regardless of what you're talking about or paying attention to, they're all connected, and they're all connected to the monetary policy. And that's why you have the same issue across so many different things, so many different businesses, whether they're doing one thing or another. The monetary policy affects them positively or negatively. So obviously the whole world relies on this, and it's crazy how many people don't care. Like, it's crazy.
Well, it is wild, because you already have a country on a Bitcoin standard. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why is the rest of the world not seeing, oh wow, look at them, it's worked, how quickly, look at everything they've done, maybe we should follow that example.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of the people actually really see that. Like, you and I see that because of what we're paying attention to, but I think, like, I wouldn't know because I don't watch much mainstream media or anything like that, but I don't think that they're talking about El Salvador and the changes that it's made on CNN or any of those news.
No, that's not entertainment. That's actual news.
Hey, yeah, that's progress. Problem, right? That's actual progress. They don't want that.
News, you will see more El Salvador stuff, more actual news on what's happening around the world, not the entertainment of, oh, you know, new tariffs or some bullshit thing that you're going to be obsessed about for the next month.
So this kind of actually leads me to the comment that we did get, and I will actually, let's address it. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically the very end of it is kind of what, let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. So, there was somebody calling us out about something we were talking about, and then it's like when you're quoting historical stuff, do some research. It'll give you more credibility. Now, I wish that
quoted any historical.
I wish that were true. Well, I mean, the thing is like when we're talking about things, we're just talking about general ideas. It's not like we're pinpointing information here. And I don't have time to AI. If you would like to Google and fact check, that's great. That's what we're here to do. We're here to encourage you to do your own research. We say it often, right? But the thing that is unfortunately true here is the credibility thing. Like, nobody cares about credibility. You're just talking about the news here. Nobody cares about credibility. It's influence and attention. And unfortunately, you get more attention when you're wrong. And that's just the way the algorithm
tells you is wrong.
Right? That's the way the algorithm works.
Historically, everything you've been told is wrong too. So
yeah. So it's just kind of one unfortunate truth that it's like, guess what? We were wrong about something, and then that's why that person commented. Not because of all the things, not because of all the calls that I've made right over the past years.
What were you really? We'll talk about it later. I doubt you were wrong about
it. Well, but just one way or another, though, that's just the approach that everybody has right now. Like, credibility means nothing. And I think that's terrible. Like, credibility should be everything. And hopefully on a blockchain technology-based society, credibility would be everything, right?
That's
on the blockchain,
it
would be. But right now, with the time, like with what we have going on with an algorithmic approach right now, it's all about engagement. So people engage with things that are negative more than they engage with things that are positive. So the negative stuff gets pushed more because the algorithm doesn't know a difference. It just says, oh, people are talking about this, let's push it more. And it doesn't know the difference between people talking and people arguing, right? It's just like, whoa, there's lots of comments on this video, right? So that's the approach that the algorithms are forcing people to live with. And so unfortunately, that's the approach that people have. And so until people realize that if they want a better world, then they need to focus on the better stuff, focus on the high energy, focus on the good energy, and that's what will happen. But the media purposely puts problems on the TV and purposely puts low energy and bad vibrations, terrible frequency type stuff on there to just do exactly what we were saying earlier with the CIA controlling and having the narrative. Like, it's all by design. Everything's by design. So until you break free, until you learn about this stuff and break free from it, you will get sucked in. And but it sucks because all I can say to that person is thanks for watching. Right? Like, thanks for watching. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, maybe educate yourself.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even that, right? It's like, it's unfortunate that like the person's plenty educated, I'm sure, and they were for whatever we were talking about, they did the research and found the precise information. That's awesome. I credit them for doing that. But it's just unfortunate that because of, I think, maybe emotion, when somebody maybe gets told something that they don't understand or believe in or even agree with, that's when they decide to do something about it, instead of supporting people that are doing good things and putting your energy into talking about people that are doing good. Unfortunately, the attitude that a lot of people have is, I'm not really going to do anything unless there's something bad, then I'll do something about it, right? But if it's good, you're just like, oh, that's good, whatever. And it's like it relates to music so well because there's so many fantastic bands out there that people are like, oh yeah, they're good, they're awesome, but that's it. But then you have another band where they're not very good, but the front man's kind of funny, and then it's just kind of like that people talk about it because they make fun of them, and then it's like, oh, like, yeah, like lots of people are talking about them. It's like, it's not really good talk, but people are talking about them, and that's what they say. No, like, there's no such thing as bad press. If people are talking about you, people are talking about you. And now we have toxicity being one of the trending issues, and we've had it for a long time, but like it just, there's so many people that are like quote famous for doing nothing. And it's like, why are people even talking about these people? It's like, oh well, they had a relationship and then they broke up, and it's like, who cares? Nobody cares, man. Like, you guys, come on, get your head out of the freaking sand here, bud. Like, that doesn't matter whatsoever. These people are just the same. Like, hey, go knock on your neighbor's door and see how their relationship's doing. Like, it's gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any difference. Go a couple blocks down and knock on some random person's door if you just want to be like, they just decided to put their relationship on a screen, or somebody decided to put their relationship on a screen, right? Like, it doesn't matter. These people didn't do anything. Like,
no,
you know,
they don't matter, and they provide no value to you, the world, or anything.
No value. And they but they look like they're rich. On screen, they look like they're rich. They're wearing really nice clothes.
Well, you can rent whatever you want.
Well, dude, that's the funny thing is they don't even rent. The people that are making these shows are dressing these people and doing their makeup and putting their logos on these people, right? Like, these people are just puppets that are wearing Jack Victor and that are wearing, you know, like they are just being used as mannequins to display the company's products. And then guess what? You see a commercial for these things. The first commercial break is about all these things that they're trying to sell you, right? And then and nowadays with freaking Amazon Prime, you can accidentally buy something just by clicking OK on a commercial.
Oh God, I did. Yeah,
it's crazy, dude. Like, if
Amazon
you just sit,
it's starting to piss me off.
You're like going for the remote to try and
buy now buttons that don't say buy now.
Oh God, dude, so fun. Like, I accidentally, usually if there is a commercial, if I do get caught watching commercials, I mute them because I just don't want to listen to them, and I'll just do something else. And I got caught going for the remote to try and mute the commercial and accidentally hit the biggest button on the remote by design and added something to my cart. And then I got an email, and then I got an email like a couple days later that's one of my kids did the same thing. Oh, this has been successfully added. It's like, because they were watching TV and they like probably did it by accident or whatever. But it's like, that is robbery. Like, that is, you got to understand, like, this is the world we live in right now, right? So the approach is everything. Is everything. But the rambling, let's look back at the charts here. I'm trying to do the top-down analysis, but I just get distracted sometimes. If we're looking for a trade, let's see. We're looking for a trade for this week. Weekly bullish divergence here. Momentum, RSI, strength going up, and price coming down. Are you doing all right over there? You're in and out a couple times there.
Yeah.
Was that me or is that you?
No, that was me. My like something. Well, the thing like went black there, and I don't know. Started flickering, so I just signed out and signed in.
Started flickering. All right, well, no harm. Trying to get back into the Bitcoin charts here. Got a little bit sidetracked with life and stuff, but ultimately, yeah, like, this is starting to look very similar to bottoms. And so long-term investors, if you're looking for Bitcoin for long-term, DCA, we're in the DCA zone. And the DCA zone is where you DCA. If you don't know what that is, it's dollar cost average. You've been doing it into fuel your entire life. When fuel is down, you probably buy more. When fuel is up, you probably don't buy as much. So dollar cost average is the same thing. If Bitcoin's up, you buy less. If Bitcoin's down, you buy more. And of course, this is not financial advice, and nothing I do or say should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And of course, smash the like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. But ultimately, do your own research, because this is how you're going to get the life that you want to get. And not only that, is you're going to have to stay disciplined and do the things you need to do to achieve that outcome. Create those goals, do what you need to do to get there. Stay disciplined and focused. Okay, so I am long right now. I'm not looking for shorts. Not until we get a little bit higher, maybe at 67. We'll see if we can see some signs of potential shorts. I mean, maybe we're seeing a little top here, but like on the daily, ultimately we're going to see how today goes. Money flow is generally trending up on the daily, which means any drop that we get, basically what has happened the last few times, should kind of be met with some strength or support as the money is flowing in. So you see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times now we've come and held this area as support. If we lose this area of support, well then that would likely be the sign that we're going to go lower. But ultimately, like, if you look right now, we kind of have a little inefficiency in the volume right here. So I would like to see us come right back up to this high and take this high out. That would be very nice. I think I would probably look to take profits in full, maybe leave a little bit. I've already taken profits once on this long. I just added to it at the beginning of the stream. If you weren't with us, added to the long. But ultimately, stops already in profit, and if we're, as long as we're holding this area here at like 63k, say maybe 62.8 is what I was saying yesterday, we're looking just fine. We're looking just fine for continuation of the trend. Now the money flow kind of indicates that trend by out in the green and coming out. We're expecting down, and look, you can kind of see that it kind of rolls off, goes sideways, stays a little mellow, and then move, and then move. We could easily see the same sort of thing where we kind of do a little bit of here and then move, and then we have another big move. Like we could easily come back up to this high volume node at $70,000, and that would be very healthy price action. We do have a little bit of inefficiency up in here that very well could be filled, as well as a high volume node that likely acts as a magnet for price. And if you look at this range overall, we've deviated below the value area low and got back in and now holding it as support. So in an auction theory aspect, you have people that are agreeing on a certain price of an asset. Up here it's too expensive, down here it's cheap, right in the middle is where most people agree. So when we come down to those cheap prices and we deviate below the range but then get back in, that's a strong sign of strength that there's a lot of people down here that aren't willing to sell their Bitcoin, for one thing, and are ultimately looking to accumulate more at these prices because it is historically a good price, cheap price for Bitcoin. And then, you know, if you get on top of your value area low and you get back into your range, your next stop is likely, highly likely, again, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but when it comes to tradings, you work on probabilities. So highest probability is, after reclaiming our value area low, is to go to our POC, look to reclaim that before another move up to the value area high. And so that's kind of what I would expect for the next little while. That's kind of what I'm looking at for the next little while. I'm not going to be looking for shorts until we see this, like, you know, we'd have to see the rollover here and see this money flow make another lower low on the red. You know, we'd have to come, like, it just looks like a lot of money is flowing into Bitcoin right now. We see a lot of money flowing out of the stock market. Capital rotation is just kind of how things work. The people that make money off their money, once it starts to go down in one, they move it to something that's already down. The stock market's up 80% in the last year, or whatever it is. If you want to, you can do your own research on that. You probably should. I could, but I'm not going to waste my time right now. It's up. All you need to know that it is up and Bitcoin is down, and we buy low and we sell high. So the people that are smart money, they call them, they are going to be rotating their capital out of stocks and into things like Bitcoin, potentially things like bonds, where the interest rates are going up for. And we're just going to do the whole thing all over again, because it just literally just is just full circle, just keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again, like a loading bar. Still trying to figure it out. Just still trying to figure it out. But if you understand how it works, you can capitalize, and you rotate your capital with the markets, and ultimately, I don't know, do you get rich? Do you get rich? Maybe. That's up to you, though. It's discipline.
I don't know.
But ultimately, I think as far as this week goes and looking for potential trades, still looking down here at that 62, 61.3 area as a nice support. And if lost, then maybe we'll look to see how things are going. If money flow is coming out on like the 4 hour and the 1 hour, then we kind of look for a short, but not until those levels are lost. Like, that's pretty strong support in my opinion right now. we got this sort of sideways rising channel almost, it looks like here, which is bearish. And so if that does break, then basically what you'd expect to see after this trend line breaks right here is if we come down and we retest and we can't get above it, and then we lose value area low, well then it's kind of like that's looking for lows there. Anywhere in here is where you would probably look to enter your trade, and hopefully you get a lower high in here to sort of put your stop on. But if you really wanted to, you could have your stop all the way up there. I wouldn't recommend having quite a large stop, but you could easily play this down to the high volume node at $57,000, 454. I do believe that is something that I would like to see tapped at some point. But if we go back to our heat map here, there is liquidity down there, but ultimately the yellow is the more liquidity. There's more liquidity starting to build above us. So not only do we have a lot of people buying spot Bitcoin, we have a lot of people starting to accumulate shorts at the bottom, which is, was great for the last few months. We had some great shorts. If you were with us, we had some great shorts, even some jorts. And it's like, now is not really the time to be getting too bearish. Sure, we will probably potentially have some more downside, but the percentage that we're going to go down is now very small compared to the potential percentage that we are going to go up. And typically bear markets last year, top was in October 2025. It is July 2026. We only have August, September, 2.5, 3 more months of potential sideways to downward price action before it's like, okay, that was really it. That was your chance. If you weren't paying attention, you're going to get left behind again, and everybody buys Bitcoin at the price they deserve. So what are you going to do? Are you going to pay attention? This is the time to pay attention. I think that's in the, it's time to pay attention. That was in the title of the podcast, of the YouTube stream. So my advice to you is do your own advice. Do your own research. Give your own advice. No. But ultimately, yeah, like DCA range, if you're trading, look for those inefficiencies. They come along the way on the high time frames and the low time frames as well. Let's see what we're sitting at right now. Looks like we went down to 64.3.
Yeah, come down a bit.
We're just holding it. Oh, we're at 2 minutes until this candle closes. Still holding that 64, this low here. This also have like a little shoulder head shoulder if you're kind of a pattern guy. So a neckline breakout target for this would pretty much be these highs. On this long, I do have a couple TPs up here as well as one TP above the high if it gets taken. And yeah, we're just chilling today. Gonna go watch some baseball. And yeah, I think we're gonna get a little golden tea going here, though. What do you think? It's been about an hour.
Yeah.
Ready for some GT?
I'll head on over.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna set up the stream today in a new fashion. So if you haven't been with us before for the golden tea streams, come check that out in about 20 minutes, half an hour, and we'll see you there. Thanks for joining us today, folks. Remember, do your own research. Don't believe everything you see on a screen. Verify. Do not trust. Verify. And you will have yourself a great time understanding how the world works, because it is what it is, and nobody's opinion matters at really much at all, unfortunately. So take those losses and learn from them. Summed it all up there, all in 30 seconds. Right. But yes, I hope you all are well. Thanks for joining us, folks. I wish you well. I wish you wealth. AK, I'll see you shortly.
See you in a bit.
Peace, brother. And peace out, folks. Thanks for joining us at Surely Sound Studio today. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. If you have any questions, you can always pop them in the live chat if you're with us, or the comments, and I'll try to get to them afterwards. Love to hear about what you're thinking. Love to converse and, just make a community where people are talking about things that matter and things that are going to make us progress and not digress, or whatever the opposite of that is. Don't like recessions, okay? There's no need for it with the technology we have now. We have the technology and the intelligence to do better. So let's do it. And with that candle close, I'm out. See you guys shortly. on the golden tee. Let's go. Peace out. I recommend putting your opinions aside and learning how to think logically.